Oh, Lord. Every week, fantasy brings some different emotions, doesn't it?
That's right.
Week 5, we've got straight cash and just trash on the episode. We're also going to talk about the Monday night football, the Tuesday night football. Oh, surprise. That's right. 2 matchups in the week. And, of course, we're going to give you some drop candidates. Maybe some people you're thinking, should I drop these guys? We're going to talk about it. So let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Okay, all right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What a week of football. Hey, it is Monday, the 12th of October. My name is Zach. This is Badaki. And we are pretty excited to bring a great episode to you. Sunday night football.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
What a game.
Russ cooked classic. Yes, chef. We're here to help you, chef. Whatever you need, chef.
That's right.
He did his thing.
He did do his thing. I want to ask you a question because we talked about this before the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes you can bet on the MVP and, this person or whatever. Obviously, everyone knows you can bet. I want to ask you a question. Let's say I gave you $100 right now, and I said you can either bet right now that Russell Wilson is the MVP of the league by the end of the year, or you can take the field, meaning you can take every other NFL player. Who are you putting your money on? Are you putting your money on the field, or are you putting your money on Russ? Because that game was impressive. He's been impressive all year, but that kind
100%.
Of comeback drive is kind of the staple of an MVP, right?
Oh, 100%. I think if I had the opportunity, I think I have to go Russ. There's literally no one in my head that I can think that one is doing what he's doing. It is in his position and is 5-0 now. Yeah, he's 5-0. Like, he's certainly surpassed Patty. No way he's getting MVP this year or anyone else that I can think of. I have to put on Russ.
For sure. Well, we'll see how the rest of the season pans out. But we got so much to talk to you about with straight cash and just trash today. But hey, we are doing a signed OBJ giveaway. We do signed giveaways every month.
That's right.
Just because we love to. We love to do it.
Mm-hmm.
This OBJ jersey, we are giving this away on the 18th of October when the Browns face the Steelers. And by the way, we are partnered with RSA. And we're going to tell you about RSA a little bit later, but we're pretty pumped. Head to our Instagram so you can find that giveaway and follow all the steps. You don't want to miss out on this one. And we got a pretty exciting one coming after that as well.
It's too good. You really don't want to miss that one.
That's right. So follow us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can watch the podcast on YouTube. And of course, you can listen on virtually any podcast platform in the world. Mm-hmm. Of course, as always, if you are listening on Apple Pods, please drop us a review. That would be super helpful, very kind of you. But lots to talk about, so let's get into it.
What is going on here?
Need to know news. What is going on? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's happening around the NFL right now, things that you should be aware of. But Aki, we start off with some pretty disappointing, devastating news.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as you know, Dak Prescott went down against the Giants on Sunday. It looks like a broken ankle, and it looks like he's obviously done for the season. He had surgery on Sunday night. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, you are devastated, gut-wrenched in every way to lose your quarterback that has been balling out so far all season.
For sure. You'd probably rather have lost the game than had lost your franchise quarterback. And
absolutely.
Also, obviously this goes far beyond fantasy, right? This is terrible. This is devastating for this young man who's, his whole life is going to look a little bit different now. But guaranteed money, that guaranteed money was not there, was it?
No, I actually think this is a plus for him, a blessing in disguise. This is going to show how valuable Dak is to this organization. If obviously they weren't winning games, They won the game.
Yeah.
But it would definitely have to pan out rest of the season. I think Jerry Jones is going to have conversations with Dak Prescott saying that we want you to stay here. He has to sign him, I think.
Totally. I think it's just going to be interesting because the way that Dak plays, an injury like that is going to be really tough to recover from.
Yeah.
Really hard to watch. If you saw it, it was very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of prayers up for Dak and his family.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that he has had the surgery and it went successful, so have a quick recovery, Dak. Dalvin Cook had a little bit of a groin injury on Sunday Night Football. He did come back. However, they did sideline him after a couple snaps. I think it's probably not as big of an injury as we first thought it was when we saw it.
No, I think that he went into the game. He wanted to try it out. He was like, "Coach, let me try it out." He tried it out, and he was like, "I'm not doing it." He didn't want to risk it. The first thing I saw, I remember him getting hurt, going to the locker room, and coming out. And I immediately sent a text to the chat, and I was like,
"Yeah,
please, Dalvin, don't go in."
Yeah.
And he tested it out. I'm glad he decided not to continue playing because he's more valuable to this team so far. Like if Dalvin I personally think if Dalvin didn't get hurt, they would have won the game.
Yeah, for sure. Madison ran really well, but Cook's kind of that X factor. Michael Thomas, by the way, ruled out on Monday Night Football. We found that out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And we all thought, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The bye's next week. They want to make sure the ankle's all goods. But no, it wasn't injury related. He's actually being disciplined by being benched.
Right.
Because apparently he got into a fight and apparently punched teammate Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, defensive back for the Saints. This is obviously not what you really wanted to find out, right? But it's better. Is it better than finding out that it was an injury setback?
It's definitely frustrating. You hope that Michael Thomas was going to be in the game for the Monday night, but it's kind of a disguise, a blessing in disguise as well, because once again, there's a whole nother week to rest. He gets 2 extra weeks to rest. That means he's going to come back. He's going to come out guns blazing after the bye week. Yeah. So there's no excuses to not see him after the bye week. So hold on to him for 2 more weeks. You're chilling.
Definitely. I mean, do not forget who Michael Thomas is.
Absolutely.
He will be a top 5 wide receiver when he's back from that point onwards. Dan Quinn is
got the boot.
He's gonzo.
Bye, Felicia.
Not surprising at all. They're 0-5. Also, the Atlanta Falcons GM is also out of there. So a lot of changes probably coming to the Atlanta Falcons team, which is probably good if you're a Falcons fan. You're probably done with this jokes of we can't win a game, we can't hold leagues. It's time for change.
Absolutely. It's crazy to think that 2 years ago they were Super Bowl contenders. They were at the Super Bowl.
I think that was like 4 years ago.
It was 4 years ago already.
It was a while. I don't remember how many exactly, but it was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2, 3.
It feels like it wasn't long ago.
I think it was 2018. Anyways, it's crazy. It's crazy. Dan Quinn, he's been there for a while. I mean, surely everyone's stock should be rising. It was already high, but should be even higher now, I would assume. Yeah.
Good news for Atlanta Falcons fans. Hey, we're going to get into straight cash and just trash, but first we want to tell you about RSA. You know that we love doing giveaways. You know that already. We do the monthly signed sports memorabilia. We love giving away free stuff to the Fantasyland community, but you might not know much about our partner, RSA. So let us tell you why we think they are the go-to for all things sports memorabilia. Did you know, Badaki, that most signed memorabilia companies don't actually work directly with athletes?
No, I didn't know that. No.
They use third-party companies, but not RSA. RSA makes deals directly with the athletes in bulk, so you can always get the best deals in the industry.
Wow.
RSA is also the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor and promises a money-back guarantee on all products. So, head to shoprsa.com for all your signed sports memorabilia needs. Again, shoprsa.com.
If you don't write checks, how do you pay these guys? Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
get into it.
Let's
oh, boy.
get-
Lots of cash performances this week to take
That's
you
right.
through. Why don't you start us off, Badaki, with some cash quarterbacks this week?
That's right. Look, to start off, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, he did his thing. 33.7 fantasy points.
Patty.
He played against the Oakland Raiders. Look, by the way, just as a disclaimer, we love to play for our fantasy league. We like to play 6-point passing touchdowns, not 4 points. We just find it
Oh, yeah.
a bit boring, you know. Like if
you're playing 4 point, what are you doing? Talk to your if you're the commissioner, have a conversation with yourself. Why am I doing this to people? And
Actually,
if you're in a league that is 4-point touchdowns, just stop. Just stop. A touchdown is 6 points.
yeah, that's common sense. If Patty's throwing a touchdown for 6 points, I expect him to get 6 points, not 4 points. Anyways,
Exactly.
Patty went off.
We just went on a very unnecessary rant. Hey, if you play 4-point touchdown, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do your
We
thing.
still,
Do your
I
thing.
mean,
Do your thing.
thanks for listening, 4-pointers. Anyways, Ryan Fitzpatrick, our upset of the week, by the way, over the 49ers.
Oh, boy.
That's right. What
That's
a
right.
performance by Ryan Fitzpatrick. 3 touchdowns, 33 fantasy points, 350 yards
Oh, my God.
against the number one defense. Number one defense against the 49ers.
I guess when they're healthy, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, maybe not this year, but look, Ryan Fitzpatrick did his thing. He balled out.
He did do his thing. That's right. By the way, as Badaki said, this was our upset of the week. Dolphins over 49ers. Every week on our Instagram, we give you an upset of the week that we think this could probably happen.
Yeah.
And when we said this one, 49er fans were not happy in the DMs. We were getting a lot of messages from unhappy 49ers fans. To be clear, when we say there's an upset, we don't want your team to lose. We're just telling you what could happen.
Yeah.
And obviously it happened. Both of these quarterbacks balled out.
Straight cash, homie.
Let's talk about running backs, Badaki. Mike Davis, or I guess he's just CMC, really.
Just CMC, you know, CMC's abilities and Mike Davis's body, just like Space Jam, some would say. But yeah, he did his thing. He did his thing. I mean,
he did do his thing. Involved in the passing game as well as in the rush attack. 2 touchdowns, almost 30 fantasy points. Mike Davis, we agree that when CMC comes back, this isn't going to happen, obviously. So you should be trying to trade Mike Davis as soon as possible, right?
Absolutely. I actually had a thought process during the game. What happens if CMC comes back and Mike Davis is still used significantly?
I thought about that as well.
You know, like they see the talent in Mike Davis. Why not utilize it?
Well, look, I think it's very much a little bit of the system. Mike, for those who know, fantasy, Mike Davis isn't this young guy. Just, this is rookie. You know, he's kind of, wow, this guy's really good. Mike Davis has been in the NFL for a while. He's 27 years old. He's older than Le'Veon Bell, or the same age as Le'Veon Bell. This isn't some new young rookie that you need to be worried about. This is very much a depth piece. When CMC is back, CMC is the guy. They're going to use him. Will his usage go down? That's the question. Because the usage might go down a little bit, right? They can trust this guy, Mike Davis. But don't be worried if you're the CMC owner. Don't let someone tell you, yo, let me get CMC. Mike Davis is the guy. No, Mike Davis is not some new rookie, so don't freak out.
Word. Todd Gurley did his thing as well against Mike Davis. Mike Davis's team, the Carolina Panthers, 120 yards, 25 fantasy points, 14 carries. Todd is doing his thing. I'm liking Todd a lot.
He is doing his thing. Should we both take a second and just apologize to Todd Gurley?
Sure. Todd?
Todd.
We love you, man.
Sorry. I'm sorry for what I said. And keep proving us wrong. Obviously, Todd Gurley had a great game, 25 fantasy points. We did not see this coming. I still think there's going to be bust games, but Todd had a great game, and he's been having some really consistent games. This next one is very surprising considering the matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles Sanders, he broke out for that 74-yard touchdown run, I'm pretty sure. 2 touchdowns, 80 yards, 23 fantasy points. He, once again, another guy that did his thing against the number 2 running defense, the Steelers. Like,
crazy.
He did
crazy
great.
Type of performance from him. Did really well, and
that's what you were waiting
Miles
for.
Sanders. It is what that's what I was gonna say. It's what you're waiting for. If you're a Miles Sanders owner, then be happy because you either want to sell him because you don't think the Eagles are great, or you think, okay, this is things to come, right?
Right.
This next guy you love, so I'm gonna let you talk about him. He's our last cash running back of the week.
That's right. Look, this guy, I personally think his stock has went up after obviously the loss of his quarterback and his Ezekiel Elliott. 2 touchdowns, 23.5 fantasy points, 19 carries, crazy carries. Look, this is a guy that has been consistent, obviously, all throughout his fantasy career. Like I said, his stock surely has to have gone up now that Dak is out.
Yeah, I think I see it a little bit differently. I mean, I think with this offense with Dak out, the wide receivers stock has been heavily affected.
Yes.
I think we both agree that, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think that you can say that CeeDee Lamb is the confirmed number 2 anymore because quarterbacks prefer different people, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Gallup was targeted a lot when Dalton was in. Doesn't mean that we're saying CeeDee is wide receiver 3. It's just this is a hard situation to gauge.
Yeah.
However, Ezekiel Elliott, I think, is the least affected. I don't think he's boosted in any way. I could be wrong. I just think he's still a safe play, obviously, weekly. But all these quarterbacks and running backs so far.
Straight cash, homie.
But let's talk wide receivers. The top 2 names are just... who would have thought that these guys would be the top of the wide receiver cash list? Chase Claypool with 42 points and Travis Fulgham from Philadelphia with 31 points. Where the heck did this come from? Both of these performances.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. I love it. Look, these guys went off. These are clearly the 2 top waiver wire, targets in this week. Yeah. You have to be getting these guys. Obviously, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson went out. He had the opportunity. And for Travis, Fulgham, I don't know how you say it.
I don't even know how you say this guy's name, honestly.
But for Travis, look, Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. They're coming back soon. They're coming back soon. They're coming back next week. Oh, not anymore. Now the week after.
Sure.
Travis is the guy. He stepped up. I thought Greg Ward stepped up. Zach Ertz, nowhere to be found. Who's Zach Ertz? Honestly. But it's Travis right now. Clearly, you have to get him on your team. I'll be targeting him off waivers.
Yep. So let me ask you that question then. Is Chase Claypool or Travis Fulgham the number 1 waiver guy this week? Who should you be putting your number 1 pick on?
This one's a bit tough. Personally, I wouldn't go Travis just because he has 2 elite receivers coming back. And he's gonna be dropped down to receiver 4, whatever he was in the depth chart. And Chase Claypool is technically wide receiver 4 because it's Juju.
He's probably 3.
Deontay Johnson, in Washington. I forgot his first name.
James wouldn't be ahead of him anymore, though, right?
I wouldn't know.
Who knows, right?
I actually don't know. But look, I personally be going Chase Claypool for the rest of the season. I think he's on the better offense. He has the better opportunity, and Deontay Johnson just keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
both of these guys straight cash, but both will probably not have a better game this season. If we're honest, we could be wrong. Brandon Cooks.
Oh, man.
A guy that most people probably dropped at this point. Dropped an egg last week. And this week puts up 30 fantasy points. What the heck happened?
I don't know. I really don't know. He did. I mean, he played the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what I know. That's what I know.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. If ever you're playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, that is your week to just show who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm still not targeting Brandon Cooks in the waivers. If he's on your team, I'll be selling him high.
Fair enough. We have 2 wide receivers from the Sunday night games to finish off our cash wide receivers, Adam Thielen and DK Metcalf. Adam with 29 fantasy points, and DK with 27. Man,
crazy.
If you got one of these wide receivers, you're feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if especially DK Metcalf in the last quarter, the fourth quarter, in the last 2 minutes, he probably scored about 15 points and probably won you either your fantasy or lost you your fantasy matchup this week. He went crazy. He's a freak of nature. Honestly, he has to be the best receiver in the healthy that's in the NFL. I mean, and NFL right now.
Whoa, no way.
Who else is there? Oh, DeAndre Hopkins, he's healthy.
The best wide receiver? No.
And the best wide receiver that is healthy, that has been, sorry, how about, let me rephrase my statement.
Okay.
He's the best wide receiver in fantasy that is healthy right now.
I think I'd still take DeAndre. And, from just healthy wide receivers? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely top 5. I don't know. I would need to look at that in more detail. But regardless, this is a guy that you want on your team. And all these guys, straight cash. Travis Kelce is our cash tight end of the week. 8 receptions, 108 yards, 24 fantasy points. After the game, he said, "This loss is on me." But it doesn't really matter for you if you're playing fantasy, does it?
No, definitely. Look, I understand why. I think I understand why he was saying that. He was talking about he definitely, during the game, he was targeted in key third down scenarios that he either dropped the ball or the defender, challenged it and knocked it away. And I think that, as a person in his position, he has to contest that catch. He has to make that catch. I can see why he's frustrated, but he still had a great day. Yeah,
and when it comes to fantasy, you don't really care if...
No, I don't care if you drop the ball, bro. How many points you got? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got 25 at the tight end position? Oh, my gosh. Thank you very much. We're going to give you a bonus cash entry. The Baltimore Ravens defense went crazy this week in fantasy. If you played them, probably a big old RIP to your team. Mm-hmm. 1 week it was the Colts. Now this week it was the Ravens. Joe Burrow, the poor guy.
My goodness.
This is probably the worst game he'll ever have of his career.
Absolutely. I don't know. They could not stop this defense.
No, they couldn't.
He was just tossing it up sometimes. I think they had like 7 sacks or something ridiculous, some ridiculous number like that.
Yeah. It was insane. But that is our cash list for the week. We have some honorable mentions that we'll quickly go through. DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Jacobs, Darrell Henderson, surprisingly played well in that Russian roulette of a backfield. Chase Edmonds.
Wow.
Probably the best running back in Arizona. Do you think so?
No.
Okay. I think he is probably the better running back there, and I wonder when it will change. Myles Gaskin also didn't go off, but I mean, for Myles Gaskin went off 20 fantasy points.
Especially against the Niners. 49ers,
Yeah. Which you are going to say they played terrible, but coming into this game, they were the number 1 defense against running backs. Mm-hmm. And to finish off the list, honorable mentions, Jamison Crowder. Here's what we know, right? In life, you're going to get death, taxes, the Jets are going to lose, and Jamison Crowder is going to get over 7 receptions every game for whatever reason, finishing with 25 points.
I don't get
What's going on there? I mean, do you just start him every week?
He has to be a must start right now. Like this, he's been really consistent. He's the most consistent wide receiver on that team. As much as you don't want to start him because he's on the Jets, clearly they're always trailing, and Jamison Crowder is the only guy that's playing the football game.
Yeah, he's the only guy that you know is going to be there. But every time you get cash, we also bring you just trash. So let's talk about it.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
He needs some milk.
Oh my gosh. A lot of trash performances this week.
A lot of trash performances. Crazy. Quarterbacks.
Talk to us.
I mean, obviously, we spoke about Joe Burrow. He did terrible. Interception.
Yeah.
2 fumbles, 4 points. If you started him, I wouldn't have started him. But if you started him.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone in our league started him. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. In one of the leagues that we're in together, someone started him. And I just want to ask why. Why?
Especially against that
why?
defense.
Yeah.
And then another disappointing performance from Matty Ice. Look.
Yep.
You probably drafted Matty Ice really high, not really high, but higher than most
least.
Higher than most quarterbacks. And you were expecting him to really, carry you just kind of like he carried you maybe last year.
Yeah.
That's not the case. He could be a potential drop for me. Like this is not somebody that I want on my team right now. Maybe I'm benching him and I'm not starting him with confidence until I see that consistency.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, one interception, 1 fumble, 6 points. Matt Ryan, trash.
I think oftentimes what can happen when, new management comes in, it can be either really good or it could be really bad. But, regardless, both of these quarterbacks.
Oh, he needs some milk.
Someone help. Let's talk about running backs. Jerick McKinnon.
Wow.
People were saying, even when Mostert's back, this guy is a flex play. Smash it. 2.5 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can start Jerick with any confidence while Mostert is healthy, right?
No, I'm not starting him personally. If I'm holding on to him maybe for another 2 weeks, if Raheem is healthy, maybe and somebody else pops off within in the next 2-3 weeks, he's definitely a candidate for me to be dropping for sure.
Here's the thing that's weird is the game script should have been good for him because he's a great receiving back. But it just didn't work out. Didn't work out for Mark Ingram either. Is this stat line right? Did he have 1 carry for 57 yards?
I don't think so.
Is that right? I was about to say, there's no way that can be right. Anyway, look it up. Mark Ingram finishes with 5.7 fantasy points. You really can't start Mark Ingram anymore, can you?
No, you definitely can't. This is also a surprise. Like, what's going on? Sorry, he had 11 carries. I'm missing a 1 there. He had 11 carries, 57 yards. Look, he's getting the opportunity, kind of. I guess maybe it's not as many carries as you want from Mark Ingram, especially from this run first offense. But this is not somebody that I'm starting at all. This is a flex option at best for me.
Yeah. It's just this offense is in a strange position, and I think they're gonna figure out. It's just really strange offense right now.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell came back off the IR. Now, he wasn't... I mean, I think he was... Yeah, he was pretty bad. Right. 7.7 fantasy points. I was trying to, justify it. Right. 7.7 fantasy points. 13 carries on 60 yards is what's good. Because that is somewhat efficient, right?
Right.
But you're probably not... You were probably like, oh, Le'Veon Bell is back. Let's go.
Le'Veon,
I don't think anyone's been like that since he's been on the Jets, but
no, Le'Veon Bell for me now is a good bye week guy to add in. So
yeah,
when Aaron Jones is on a bye and you have nobody and Le'Veon Bell's on your bench, at least you have a really low ceiling and a really low floor and a really high ceiling type guy.
Yeah. Let's talk about wide receivers. These wide receivers disappointed you this week. Why don't you start us off there?
Yeah, sure. Juju Smith-Schuster, 6 points, 4 receptions, 5 targets. I mean, come on. I don't like the Steelers receivers.
It's weird, isn't it?
I don't know. Juju's like people draft him, in the top 4 rounds, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm not sold on him.
I feel like Big Ben is a type of guy. You know what it might be? Is Big Ben's probably like, Juju's a good wide receiver, but he's not Antonio Brown. Look, AB, whatever you want to think about him, he is and was an elite wide receiver. So now it's kind of to the point where it's probably like, Juju's a good wide receiver, but I'm not going to force feed him the ball. I'm comfortable to just see who's open.
I think now looking back at it, like you just said, I remember when AB left, there was all this talk, oh, Juju's such a great receiver. He was a elite receiver. He was a great number 2 for AB. He ain't doing nothing. He's not stepping up. Obviously, I mean, you can't really fill AB's shoes. Yeah, that's kind of hard.
He's had some good games so far. Right. But I just think there is the boom bust potential every week, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm not sold on him as a receiver.
Neither.
Next guy, Scary Terry.
Mango Terry? Put in reverse, Terry!
I mean, I have Terry in multiple leagues, and he let me down 5.6 fantasy points. Look, he was targeted 7 times, 3 receptions. There was a couple quarterback changes. Alex Smith.
Yeah. I was going to say on Terry, Alex Smith, yeah, it's great. Thanks. I mean, I'm a Washington fan, so no way. That sounded really disingenuous.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know how to say that word. No, I like seeing Alex Smith back out there. It was like, dang, that's awesome. But then watching him play and just every snap is like, this guy, is he going to be okay? Watching his wife have her hands on her head, like, what are we doing? Okay, I'm going on a rant, and I'm a Washington fan, if you don't know that. Now you know.
Right.
Why the heck was Alex Smith out there? He was obviously not ready. And it was rainy weather, and our offensive line could not have stopped anyone. It was just did not make sense for me for Alex Smith to be out there. From what we heard, Allen, he was medically cleared to go back into the game. Anyway,
I think
that's a different rant for a different day. Terry McLaurin, I think the reason that both Terry and Gibson weren't awesome today was the game plan was thrown out the window really quickly.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And I think it was just precautionary with Kyle Allen. That's why he didn't go back to the game. They rather him sit out a whole game for precautionary than have him miss 2 games because of concussion.
What a situation for Dwayne Haskins to be in. Hey, probably needed a quarterback. Hey. Anyway, Terry was not great. I expect that to change as long as Kyle Allen is quarterback.
Yep.
Amari Cooper. What the heck happened to Amari Cooper?
That Giants defense, baby. Let's go. Oh, way to shut him down.
4.1 fantasy points from Amari. Not great at all.
Great.
DJ Chark. DJ did deal with an injury. However, he was terrible. 4.6 points. Both of these guys, all of these guys on this list.
Oh, he needs some milk.
Not good.
No.
But comparing them to the tight ends this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Tight ends. It's just, you think you can trust somebody. Someone enters your life and you value them very highly and treat them nice. And tell everyone that they're yours. They're off the table. I'm not talking trades for this guy.
No.
Are you kidding me? Zach Ertz? No way I'm trading this guy. I need the reliable points every week from the tight end position.
Yeah.
You can't trust anyone anymore.
This one's hard.
This is hard. Zach Ertz.
Why? Look, before you say anything, 6 targets, okay? You want to know where Carson Wentz put all those 6 targets? At his feet.
Okay.
At his feet. You need to go if you have Zach Ertz on your team, there's no hope and there's hope at the same time because Carson Wentz can be a great quarterback when he wants to, and then he can be a really, really bad one. All I know is every time we do the Zach Ertz, it was at his feet, and I was pissed because he'll be wide open, but Zach couldn't. He couldn't throw it to his chest.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Honestly,
just sounds unlucky. Zach Ertz finishes with 1.6 fantasy points.
That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that.
Just terrible. Tyler Higbee, 3.2 fantasy points. Absolutely pitiful. Right. George Kittle. Now, George Kittle had 8.4 points.
Right.
But he came off a 40 bomb and dropped 8 points. What happened to George Kittle?
That Miami Dolphins defense? No. I think they panicked. Jimmy came in, came back, and then they benched him, and then everything just went downhill from there. I mean, it was downhill with Jimmy in, but
yeah, did not go the way anyone had thought. The thing that's scary about this George Kittle situation is the game script was in his favor. Obviously, different quarterbacks always hurts. It was pretty obvious Jimmy G wasn't ready to go. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that is our straight cash and just trash list of the week. Let's get on to Monday Night Football.
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Monday Night Football and Tuesday Night Football.
Oh, Tuesday.
Right. That's right. A little surprise to shake up your week. Change your plans. Tuesday night's off limits now.
That's right.
I was actually hearing Tony Romo and someone else on broadcast, and they were basically saying we could literally have games on any night of the week the entire year.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. Like, legit. You could have games on Wednesday, Friday. Every day is on the table now.
Interesting.
I can't wait for the Thursday morning 10 a.m. game. Well, obviously, have to be flexible with this season. COVID is unpredictable. Let's talk about Monday Night Football first. The 1-3 Chargers at the 2-2 Saints. Over-unders 50. This game will probably be competitive. I don't expect it to be a blowout on either side. Do you feel that way?
No, I definitely think. I think both of these teams are very talented. I think the Chargers are underlooked, and they don't get the credit that they are due. They have a lot of talent on that team. I think the Chargers, ever since they lost Phillip, they're not like, people don't look at them the same way, personally. Yeah. But I love the Chargers. I personally think they're gonna win this game.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that Justin Herbert is going to come out and ball, and the guy that I'm raving about every single day in the chat, maybe if you've seen it, if not, we might have that coming soon to you. Maybe some exclusive chat messages. Joshua Kelly.
Yep.
Nobody likes him. All I have to say, I'm gonna. Oh my goodness.
I like him. I like Josh Kelly. The respect that you put on his name already, I just can't get on board with just yet.
Man, I think that he is going to ball. And the reason that is because he has the prime opportunity. I sent a picture in the chat of all the boys of Joshua Kelly's not rest of the season, but the schedule, the 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. Until the bye. Well, I think that changed now. New Orleans, Jacksonville, Denver, Vegas, Miami.
Right. Great schedule.
I mean, if this is not a better opportunity than right now for Joshua Kelly, then I have no idea. And I'm starting him in my flex this week. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really hope he balls. Let's go, Kelly.
Yeah, you've got a lot riding on Joshua Kelly. I think the Saints still win this game. I do think it's close, but let's talk about the Saints. Alvin Kamara, obviously, is a superstar. You're starting him in every scenario regardless. Jared Cook, is he coming back from injury? Do we have that confirmed?
I think he's still questionable for the game. I haven't heard anything else.
Well, that will be something to watch. Now, obviously, Michael Thomas is out. So who's the guy? Who's stepping up there?
I think it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders this game. I think he had a great game last week. Both Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith both had decent games last week.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of these guys. I definitely think it's Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's a better receiver. I'm still not starting him with confidence. I'm still not. wanting to do anything with him, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, will definitely be interesting to watch. You got a lot riding on that game with Josh Kelly, so I can't wait to see that game.
I don't think it's that much. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
If you got Joshua Kelly, send me a DM. That's all I gotta say.
He really believes in him. On Tuesday, we've got the 4-0 Bills at the 3-0 Titans. Tuesday Night Football.
Hopefully they play it.
So many questions about this game. Many questions when it comes to the game itself. When it comes to people testing positive for COVID, it feels like the entire state of Tennessee has tested positive now, and the game's on, but it feels like at any second the game could be off.
Right. I think that I'm really hoping they play. One.
Yeah.
I personally think that all these guys should not come in contact with each other until the game day. This sounds like a big disadvantage for the Titans.
Yeah.
But I think if they want to play football, that's kind of what they have to do. Close your facilities, don't practice, don't do anything. And like I said, it feels like a big disadvantage, but
that's what I was saying. It's like we talked about this in the whole, Titans. Yeah, they should want to practice on the side, right? Totally. But when you agreed to have a COVID football season or season in the middle of COVID, you agreed to things being really different and things being really weird. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it'll be a fun game to watch. I hope that it's on. I'd love to watch some Tuesday Night Football.
It's going to be a first for me. Tuesday night.
It's a first, I think, I don't think there's ever been Tuesday Night Football. So
a first for everyone. And
we're making history, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say for fantasy commissioners there, definitely try to make a new set of rules. I know Zach has put in place some things for the league for us, because if you're counting on Derrick Henry to play, but if he doesn't play, there's no other option. So
yeah, here's the thing, right? I just want to speak to the commissioners of any leagues, or maybe you're listening and you want to tell this to your commissioner. Let's not forget, fantasy is supposed to be really fun, right? It's supposed to be the funnest game in the world, because it is. And obviously, with COVID season and everything that's happening, fantasy means more to the majority of people who play than it ever has.
Right.
Because I know you and we talk about it all the time. This means so much to us that this is happening. So anyway, fantasy is supposed to be fun. So if you're a commissioner, listen, what's happening right now, let's take the Titans, for example. This is completely out of an owner's hand. You have no control as a Derrick Henry owner of what's happened at all. Right? So here's what we've put in place, because we don't want to penalize people because they haven't done anything wrong. Let's say, for example, you own Derrick Henry, okay? And obviously the game's been postponed and it's scheduled to be on Monday or Tuesday night. What you need to do is, before the Thursday Night Football games happen, you need to have everyone in your league who's had a postponed game send you a text and say, hey, if Derrick Henry doesn't play, I want you to substitute player B from my bench for my points. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's say I have Derrick Henry starting this week, right? Tuesday night. Let's say the game doesn't happen, and I had, I don't know, Jerick McKinnon, for example. Obviously, he didn't do well, but we didn't know that before the game. I had Jerick McKinnon on my bench. I would say to my commissioner, hey, if Derrick Henry doesn't play, if this game is postponed and it doesn't happen, I want you to substitute Jerick McKinnon for my points. Right. The decision has to happen before the week, because you can't just choose someone who went off on your bench, right?
Yeah, it'd be unfair.
Yeah, this allows more flexibility for your league. It's more comforting to know, okay, I can put Derrick Henry in my lineup, and if he doesn't actually play, there's still a security blanket there.
Exactly.
And you want to make fantasy fun. And the other thing I would say is make sure that you are allowing the IR spots to be used for IR and COVID. Maybe you can add a couple IR spots. Make this not so strict, not so serious. Yes, there is money on the line, but a lot of this is out of people's hands, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's a little rant, but DM us if you actually want help, because I know a lot of people are going, what do we do? So I'd love to explain that in detail. I hope did that make sense, Badaki? What I just said?
No, absolutely. If it just gives us, like you said, a security blanket, I think that's something great that all fantasy commissioners can do, because it is unfair. It's unfair. Like, it's not in our hands. It's not in your hands, but at least it's something that we can all do to still make the game fun.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, speaking of postponements, Broncos versus Patriots has been moved to next week. Lots of other games have moved. We don't have nearly enough time to talk about them, but it's all over the league. But let's get into our next segment.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
2 thoughts for 2 drops. So, who are you considering dropping, you might ask? Well,
a lot of people.
Glad you asked. A lot of people. Badaki and I are going to give you 2 players that we are considering dropping that maybe it's time to let go. It's hard. It's hard to let go. But maybe it is time to let go. Our first drop candidate is Mo Ali Cox. Okay? Which is a shame. Yeah. Because he was actually a pretty decent tight end. Now, that all happened while Trey Burton and Jack Doyle were injured. Okay? And in this latest game, both Trey Burton and Jack Doyle were back.
Right.
Unfortunately, Mo Ali Cox finished with 0 points. Here's the thing. He's not the top tight end on this depth chart for whatever reason.
No.
And it's already a very low pass volume offense. They like to run the ball a lot. So, unfortunately, if you pick this guy off the waivers, he's probably not that guy that you hoped he would be. Are you dropping Mo? I am, but are you?
Yeah, I definitely am. The only way I have Mo on my team is if I need a tight end during a bye week. I know Darren Waller's on a bye week next week. Maybe Mo can be the guy, but we still don't know. Yeah. But I'll finish with my guy, which did great the first 2 weeks and has done nothing so far in the last 3 games, and that's Russell Gage. Russell Gage came out. He came out guns blazing, 20 points the first week, 16 points week 2, and then he's been averaging 4 points in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, you guys probably picked him up in hopes that he can be this guy that can give you some sustainability, because he was doing great for the first 2 weeks, especially with Julio Jones out. Like this is the biggest thing. Julio Jones was out again this week, and and Russell did nothing.
That's the thing that's weird, right?
Yeah.
Because the first 2 games Julio's playing and Gage is going off. I think he was like a top 14 wide receiver in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh, well, Julio's out, so Gage is going to get a bunch of targets. This is the common misconception, unfortunately, in fantasy. Just because Julio's not there doesn't mean that people are going to do better with more targets.
That's right.
A lot of times, Julio is that guy to take the double coverage, to take the hardest matchup, which leaves these other guys to get more targets. Unfortunately, I think Calvin Ridley is probably the only guy that you can trust there. Of course, Julio, but he's not back yet.
Yeah.
Is there another guy you can trust there?
No, there's no one else I can really trust, or I want to trust, or put my hope in. It's definitely Calvin and Julio and Todd.
And Todd. Good old Todd.
Yeah.
Well, those are our 2 thoughts for 2 drops. Who are you thinking about dropping this week? Why don't you let us know in the comments or send us a DM? But hey, thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to the episode. We've got another episode coming up
Yeah.
Obviously, after the Monday and Tuesday night games have finished, we are going to give you a league update on our league, the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. We got a really, really fun fantasy football league that we kind of let you guys get an insight on. Lots of funny guys. We're going to probably interview. There's a very interesting trade that went down this week. We're probably going to put an interview up in this podcast. We're also going to give you trade targets for week 6, people that we think you should be trading for or trading away.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it's an episode you're probably not going to want to miss. We love this episode. But hey, you probably know this. We've already talked about it. We do monthly giveaways for any sort of signed sports memorabilia. A lot of times it is jerseys. This month it is an OBJ jersey. Like we said, head to our Instagram so you don't miss out on that. You can follow us on Twitter. You can listen to the podcast on any podcast platform. If you're listening on Apple Pods, please drop us a review. And you can watch the podcast on YouTube, FantasyLand Football. You can find us, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications. Man, Padaki, in this year this has been a hard year for a lot of people. And I know it's been a weird year for us, but I'm honestly just so grateful for football. I'm just excited. It just makes things... There's always something to look forward to now, isn't there?
Yeah, there's actually always something to look forward to, especially with the next 2 games. We have Monday night and Tuesday night. Obviously, we're going to be losing out on a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think that's kind of what the goal is, but it's cool. It's good. Like, it's good. I'm glad football is bringing, a nice little shine bright light to the world. I don't know how to say.
Shine bright like a diamond. Yeah, every day there could be a report that something's happened, but thank God we're pushing through and still having football. Hey, hope you have a great Monday, Tuesday. We will see you on Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate all the people who listen to us. The Fantasyland community is strong and growing, so thank you so much for being a part of it. And as always, we will see you on the next episode. See you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.